Good afternoon. This is the Ancient Texan. I've been putting a big push on lately trying to get this podcast going. Um, I like to believe that I'm doing this because I think America's in trouble, and I want to use whatever wisdom and knowledge I have. Uh, I'm pushing 80 here, and see if I can be part of the resistance. I want you to join me in being part of the resistance. But first, let's define what I mean by resistance. The act or power of resisting, opposing, or withstanding. The opposition offered by one thing, force, etc., to another. An underground organization composed of groups of private individuals working as an opposition force in a conquered country to overthrow the occupying power, usually by acts of sabotage, guerrilla warfare, etc. For example, the resistance during the German occupation in World War II. Do I think we're quite to that level in this country yet? No, but I think we're sliding that way. And I think we have to start thinking of ourselves as a resistance, because I think it's going to get worse than it is right now. It's going to get scary and it's going to get ugly. But I want some of us to be brave. I want to be brave myself. And I want to be part of the resistance no matter how bad it gets. And I want to start organizing now. You may think I'm crazy, and if you do, then go find some other person to resist with. I'm going to read a poem here, and I hope I can read it well, and it encourages you to help me build the resistance. It's called The Low Road by Marjorie Piercy. What can they do to you? Whatever they want. They can set you up, they can bust you, they can break your fingers, they can burn your brain with electricity, blur you with drugs till you can't walk, can't remember. They can take your child, wall up your lover. They can do anything you can't stop them from doing. How can you stop them? Alone you can fight, you can refuse, you can take what refuge you can, but they can roll over you. But two people fighting back to back can cut through a mob. A snake dancing file can break a cordon. An army can meet an army. Two people can keep each other sane, can give support, conviction, love, massage, hope, sex. 3 people are a delegation, a committee, a wedge. With 4, you can play bridge and start an organization. With 6, you can rent a whole house, eat pie for dinner with no seconds, and hold a fundraising party. A dozen can make a demonstration, 100 can fill a hall, 1,000 can have solidarity in your own newsletter, 10,000 power in your own paper, 100,000 your own media, 10 million your own country. It goes on one at a time. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again and they say no. It starts when you say we and know who you mean. And each day you mean one more. Wow. Kind of the power of the group. By yourself, you're almost powerless. With 2 or 3, you're starting to be a movement. Anyway, I would like us to start working together and be part of the resistance. Here's some sayings that I got out of something called a chalice circle that I'm doing at my UUFN group. Once a reporter asked A.J. Musty, "Do you really think you're going to change the policies of this country by standing out here alone at night in front of the White House with a candle?" Musty replied softly, "Oh, I don't do this to change the country. I do this so the country won't change me." Frederick and Marianne Brassa. Pretty powerful. If you don't believe our resistance can change the country, could you believe that your resistance could change yourself? Do I believe by resisting I can change myself and become stronger and know what I'm fighting for? Fascism's most effective tool is that it makes you think there's time, that you can speak up in a bit, but not quite yet. You know, when it gets bad enough, by which time, of course, it's too late. Much like that frog in the proverbial warming pot of water. This is by Sarah Wilson. It can be overwhelming to witness, experience, to take in all the injustice of the moment. The good news is that they're all connected. So if your little corner of work involves pulling at one of the threads, you're helping to unravel the whole damn cloth. Ursula Wolf Roca. Joy is not justice. I look at joy as a splint, a cast that's holding the broken bone in place so that it can heal properly. But healing really comes from justice. Joy is meant to help on the way. Joy is there so that you don't quit. Kelly Carter Jackson. I would like to say I have some story of success, that my resistance has been, you know, followed by, you know, 10,000 people on YouTube, or that there's a lot of following, but I can't. But I have been doing this for about 5 years, and I'm starting to make progress. I'm starting to get more. I got 10,000 views last month, and I don't really care about that, but that's that joy. Uh, is kind of trying to hold me together until the bone can heal. I think we're entering some very tough times in America. Uh, I think this is how fascism starts. I think Trump and Vance and the whole team is the beginning of fascism in our country. Now, at what point does it have to get uh, enough that you can call it fascism? I don't know, but I don't think we want to wait until we're sure we have fascism before we start pushing back. I think the seeds of fascism have already been started. It's a pretty simple system. First, you disregard the law, and if you can't see that happening, the lady dying with ICE invading Venezuela, all the obvious corruption that's going on at the moment, the complete disregard for law is the main clue. And here's another clue of fascism. Fascism is a very simple game. It creates an other, the other bad guys. For Germany, it was the Jews. They're the ones causing all the problems. For Trump, it's the immigrants. And you've got kind of secondary players like China's the bad guys. All NATO's the bad guys. All the other countries are the bad guys. And the worst bad guys of all are the Democrats. So fascism always needs a bad guy, and it needs a main bad guy, and the main bad guy in Trump's fascism are the Democrats. My political party is unaffiliated, but at the moment, I don't see any courage in the Republicans, so I'm not the least tempted to join even the things I agree with them, because they lack courage at the moment to stand up. But fascism first creates a bad guy, or bad guys. In this case, the worst bad guys are the Democrats. They're destroying our country. That's Trump's fascism. And the second bad guys, almost as bad as the Democrats, are the immigrants. Once he can convince you that we're the bad guys that even can be killed, you can be shot in the street. Someone can come up to you when you're driving your car and kill you, and they will just tell you that it's your fault. You can be an immigrant that's been working here for 10 years, and because you don't have the right papers, which poor people have a hard time getting, you can be a good person that's paying your taxes, and you can be pushed out of the country. You can even be a U.S. citizen and pushed out of the country without due process of law. You can be the executive branch can do anything, and they don't need to consult with the legislative branch on setting the budget or with the judicial branch to see if the laws are being followed. They can just do whatever the hell they want to the bad guys, the Democrats, and the immigrants. That's the playbook. We're already starting to see it unfold. And if you want to, go do your history and look at how Hitler unfolded, I don't think it started too much differently. Now, Trump's not Hitler. He's not as smart as Hitler. But Vance is. Vance is probably as smart as Hitler, which is really scary because once we can get this fascism set up, I'm sure Vance is going to take over from Hitler. Trump is going to be out of the game here soon. But Vance is going to slide right into that spot. And he's going to continue the party of saying the worst bad guys in the world are the Democrats, followed very closely by the immigrants. And we can do anything necessary to them because that's the way we save our country. And we're going to bring it back to the good old days. When exactly that was, I don't know. But we have had better days. So if you believe Trump, if you can just get the Democrats from do what's necessary to them and the immigrants, everything's going to be okay. We're going to be back on the road to being great again. If you've bought off on that, you're probably at the stage that you're joining the cult. I love America, and I want us to start looking at each issue one at a time, thinking about it and making progress on what we need to do to solve each problem, and not be partisan, not be Republican or Democrat, just be Americans. I'm looking for Americans to join the resistance. And on each issue, and on each election, we'll pick the best person. On each issue, we'll have disagreements, but we'll look for solutions that are practical. This is the ancient Texan trying to start the resistance. Come join the resistance with me. Hope you have a good one. This is the ancient Texan. Namaste.